In our previous class, we studied about the laws of indices. We listed the 8 laws of indices. So in this class today, we're going to consider each and every one of them. We're going to apply the laws we've learned so far to solve this problem before us. We're going to start with the first one. That's number 8. The question says, simplify the following. We're going to apply the laws we've learned so far to be able to solve this question that is before us. Now we start with the question number 1. That's A question. A question said 125 raised by minus 1 over 3 times 49 raised to the power of 1 over 2 times 10 raised to the power of 0. First of all, we look at the negative index law that says that if I have a raised to the power of minus n, I should write it as 1 all over a raised to the power of n. Now we're going to apply it here. Here we'll now have it to be, so we are going to write it as 1 all over 125 raised to the power of 1 divided by 3 times, this one will also write the same way, 1 divided by 49 raised to the power of 1 divided by 2 times 10 raised to the power of 0. Now we said in our root power law that if I have anything if I have any power to be 1 all over n, I'm going to rewrite it as 1 all over the cube root of 125 times this one here. I will write it as 1 all over the square root of 49 times 0 law said any number that is raised to the power of 0 is 1. So I'll put my 1 here. Now look at the number. What are the number we can multiply 3 times to give me 125? That is 5. Multiply 5 times 5, 25. 5 times 25 times 5 will give us 125. So I'll write it as 1 all over 5 times the square root of 49 is going to give us 7 times 1 all over 1. 1 times 1, 1. 1 times 1 is going to give us 1. 5 times 7 is 35. 35. 35 times 1 is going to give us 35. And that is the answer. Now we go over to number 2. Number B question. Number B says 16 raised to the power of 4, or raised to the power of 5 over 4 times 3 times 2 raised to the power of minus 3 times 3 raised to the power of 0. Now I can still write this as 16 raised to the power of 5 divided by 4 times 1 all over 1 divided by 2 raised to the power of 3 times 3 raised to the power of 0. Applying our law. We're going to apply, this is the law number 8 we stated in our previous video. That is the fractional power law. I'm going to write it as the 4th root of 16 all raised to the power of 5. This is 2 times 2 times 2 into 3 places times 3 raised to the power 0 is 1. Now here, you agree with me that what number can we multiply 4 times to give us 16, and that is 2. So here will be 2 all raised to the power of 5 times 2 times 2, 4 times 2, 8. Here will give us 1 all over 8 times 1. Now, here is 2 raised to the power of 5 times 1 all over 8 times 1. If you multiply 2 into 5 places, it's going to give you 32. So here will be 32 times 1 divided by 8 times 1. You can write it as over 1 over 1. 32 times 1 will give us 32. 32 times 1 again will give us 32. 1 times 8 will give us 8. 8 times 1 is going to give us 8. And if 8 divides 32, it's going to give us 4. That is our answer. Okay. We are going to continue with number C. Here we have 1 divided by 4, all raised to the power of minus 1 whole number, 1 divided by 2. Now we have mixed fraction here. You are going to change it to improper fraction before you can proceed to solve any problem. So we are going to change it to improper fraction. Here is 1 divided by 4. Here 2 times 1, 2 plus 1, that will give us minus 3 over 2. So here we have negative index. So since we have negative index, what do? We obey the laws of negative index, that everything here should be 1 divided by 2, all raised to the power of 3 over 2. Here we can continue to write that's 1. Here we apply the fractional power law, which will now give us the square root of 1 over 4, all raised to the power of 3. Now, you can write it as 1 divided by, here what is inside this place, a square root of 1 will give us 1. Square root of 4 will give us 2, all raised to the power of 3. Now, I can write it as 1 divide, this 3 will affect this one, also affect these 2. So I'll write it as 1 raised to the power of 3 divided by 2 raised to the power of 3. This will be equal to 1 divided by 1 raised to the power of 3, 1. 2 raised to the power of 3, that's 2 times 2 times 2 times, add into 3 places to give us 8. Now, write it as 1 divided by 1 divided by 8. Now, I can change this to multiplication. Here, I'll have it to be 1 times, if you want to change multiplication, the numerator comes to denominator and denominator comes to numerator. So we have it to be 8 divided by 1. So you can still put it as all over 1. 1 times 8 will give us 8. Will give us 8. 1 times 1 will give us 1. 8 divided by 1 will still give us 8. That is the answer. Okay. We are going to continue with question number D. How 4 raised to the power of 1 over 2 times 16 raised to the power of 1 over 2 divided by 4 raised to the power of 1 over 2. So we are going to apply the same thing we have learned, the root power law, to solve every one of them. Here we can write it as the square root of 4 times the square root of 16 divided by the square root of 4. Now, the square root of 4 will give us 2 times the square root of 16 will give us 4. The square root of 4 will give us 2. From here, 2 times 4 will give us 8. Divide by 2. 2 can divide this to give us 4. So our answer is 4. Okay? The last but not the least, as number E, we're going to solve it the same way. Apply all the laws we've learned so far to still solve the same question. Here, this question, I can rewrite it as 27 raised to the power of 1 over 2, 1 over 3. Now divide by, here we have negative index. I can express it as 1 divided by 60, all raised to the power of 1 over 4. 1 over 4. Now, we apply the root power law. Here will be what? 3 roots, the cube root of 27. Divide by, here will be the 4th root, of 1 over 16. Here we have the number we can multiply 3 times to give us 27 is 3. And the number we can multiply, if we multiply 1 4 times, it will still give us 1. Now, the 16, if we can multiply 4 times to give us 16, that is 2. We're going to have it to be 2 here. So, we can proceed to write it as 3 divided by 1 over 2. So here is division. I can change it to multiplication. Since it's fraction, I can write it as 3 times 2 all over 1. I can write it all over 1 also. So here will now be 3 times 2 divided by 1. That will give us 3 times 2 is 6. 1 is equal to what? 6.